Hi guys, welcome back to Lee Jordan Davis Photography. Here we are in sunny Canvey Island in South Essex. Today we're going to be looking at coastal long exposure photography, specifically looking at the Lee filter system using a big stopper. If you look behind me, over my shoulder, you can see there's a pier in the background. That's the location where we're going to be shooting at today to get some nice funky pictures. First of all, we need to look at what equipment we're going to be using and what camera settings we're also going to be using. So there are a few pieces of equipment that you're going to need to do this. First of all, you're going to need your camera. That's a given. We're going to need the lens mount. Now, depending on which lens you're going to be using, depends on which lens mount you're going to get. So today, I'm going to be using the 18 to 200 millimeter zoom lens. That has a diameter of 72 mil. So I'm going to use a 72 mil lens adapter ring for that. Next, you're going to need the filter holder. Looks like this. It has 3 slots inside it, so if you want to use more than one filter you can do. You can also buy additional ones to go on there if you want to use more than 3. Today we're going to be using one, which is a big stopper, so we don't need to buy any more, which is great. It also has a little prong on the side, which you pull it out to let the filter drop in there and fit there nice and securely, which is really important. It's made of glass at the end of the day, the filter, so you want to make sure it's nice and safe in there. Filter looks like this. Now it is black, really black. It's like a sheet of welding glass. So there's going to be such a minimal amount of light that's being passed through this into the sensor. So, there you go. Probably the most expensive piece of glass you'll ever see. Next, I want to introduce you to this little bad boy. It's a little microfiber cloth that I'll keep with me at all times, just in case I either want to clean my lens or I want to clean any water or moisture off the big stopper itself. So depending on where we're going to be shooting, what the lighting conditions are going to be like, because it's going to change all the time, depends on what our camera settings is actually going to be. So let's take a look at that, and let's also take a look at the exposure calculator. Two other pieces of equipment that you're really going to need is, first of all, some good footwear. Second of all, a really good sturdy tripod. Depending on what conditions you're going to be shooting in, depends on, you know, what kind of tripod you're going to need. We're doing coastal stuff here, so you run the risk of any water coming in from the waves, knocking over your tripod, and that's bad news. You don't want that. So make sure you've got a nice sturdy tripod. As well as your tripod, what is also essential for this kind of long exposure shoot is some kind of way of triggering your camera to take the shot. Now, there's lots of things out there. You can get some kind of cable release system if you want. Personally, I prefer to use some kind of infrared remote, just like this one. It's nice and small, and you can put it in your pocket so it's out of the way if you need to. Now, with the big stopper, you get an exposure calculator thrown in, which is great. You can download them off the internet, or the one that comes with the system is really good. And it basically is telling you it gives you what exposure you need to use with the big stopper, depending on what your exposure reading is without the filter on initially. So let's say, for example, if we do a meter reading and it's giving us a reading of a 60th of a second in aperture priority mode, then that's going to calculate to 15 seconds. There we go. So I've got my camera all set up on the tripod. What I need to do now, I need to put my camera into aperture priority mode and then take a meter reading. So for something like this, I'm going to probably shoot at about f11, and then let's see what the exposure looks like. Let's give that a go. There we go. So I've put the camera into aperture priority mode, taken a picture, and it's come up with a meter reading at f11 of a 30th of a second. So that means that I need to use a 30-second exposure time using the big stopper. Now, what's really important is that now, once I've got my focus in aperture priority mode, that I switch from autofocus into manual focus on the lens. Otherwise, when I put that filter on, the camera's going to start searching for something to focus on, and that's not going to be possible because the filter is only going to let in a tiny amount of light. So make sure that you switch your lens focus from auto into manual. So I'm going to dial in those settings in manual, 30 seconds long, ISO 100, keep that low, and let's see what results we get. There we go, so the lens is all set up with the filter on there, and let's give it a go. On my way back to the car, I also passed this place behind me as well. If you look down on the floor behind me, we've got this really nice kind of old wood rock kind of effect going on the shoreline. So I'm going to use the Lee filter system again, use some long exposures and see what kind of effects we get out of that. There we go, so my composition is all set up. I've set my camera on the tripod. I've done an exposure reading in aperture priority mode at f11 and it's given me a reading of 60th of a second. So by using the exposure calculator, I know that I need to use a 15-second exposure time. So I'm going to dial that into my camera and then we'll have a look at the results. So there we go, folks, an example of how you can use long exposure with a big stopper. Now don't get me wrong, there's lots of other filters that you can use, lots of other systems, but my personal preference, my personal choice is to always use the Lee filter's big stopper. It's a great filter. If you do have any questions or you've got any comments, then please leave them on the YouTube channel, that'd be great, and I'll endeavour to try and get back to you as soon as I can. Please subscribe to the channel as well, and then you can get to view all the new videos that come out. In the meantime, thanks for joining us at Lee Jordan Davis Photography. Until next time, see you later. There you go, folks. If you'd like to see more of the many up-and-coming videos, then please like this video and then hit subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can also go to the website leejordandavis.com for more info. So until next time, see ya! Hello and welcome back to Lee Jordan Davis Photography. If it's ever raining, I want to make sure that my lens and next up we've got this little. There we go, so that's giving me a read-to reading at f11. Shot. So you can use a cable release. I use an infrared little, but the one that the Lee filter one comes with, really good.